The man behind the hustle and grind. This is pride, courage, determination, and perseverance. Welcome to No Luck's Given. All right, and just like that, we are back to the No Luck's Given podcast. I am Danny Keith, and I got my co-host in the building.
Hey, it's Brother Luck. What's
Brother
happening?
Luck, casual, a lot better than the other one. We said Brother Luck.
Stupid.
All right, y'all, welcome back to the podcast. This is No Luck's Given podcast. Like I said, my name is Danny Keith. I got Brother Luck in the building.
Hey.
And first and foremost, we want to say thank you for listening. If you're on Spotify, the Apple Podcast, look, those are blowing up, so thank you for listening.
Amen.
On top of that, if you enjoy the video versions, they are always on Chef Brother Luck's YouTube, so type in Chef Brother Luck on YouTube, and you'll find that. Or you want to catch us live, you can go to, Brother's IG is probably the best place to go to catch us live. Otherwise, if you're following, listening here while we're here doing this, please, comment if you want to interact. Otherwise, we got a great topic today, which is, I want to go ahead and really dive into it. Before we begin, I always like to check in with you. How's your week, bro? What's going on?
It's been busy. But it's busy every week.
Right.
My week's strong, man.
Yeah.
I've had my head up, and I think that's been one of the most important parts, right? You need
so
good people
true.
around you to help you pick your head up.
Yeah.
And I'm very fortunate to have an amazing circle and people who make me feel like I can take over the world. Tina being first and foremost, but
shout out T.
People like yourself, and of
Appreciate
course,
you.
The
Mutual.
the individuals in my world. So, I'm just keeping my head up and trying to make smart decisions and not be emotionally responsive. I think that's always a big piece is, give yourself a little bit of time to process and then make your decisions and then move forward.
Man, that's so interesting. I said this recently, which is basically like I medicate to get out of my emotions. And I realized that. You see how I did that? You see how I did that?
I'm laughing at Tina's comment. She said, "Sun's out, guns out, data."
Hey, sun's out, guns out. Yeah. We here, baby. It's Saturday. Saturday's a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? I had my son, so I just was on the go. So I don't have my normal outfit on. Shout out T. Thank you, T.
Yeah, you look like you going to a barbecue.
Hey, man, you know what I'm
you
saying?
gonna bring me a plate of ribs?
No. I'm gonna need you to cook the ribs, and then I'll serve your plate. But no, I was actually just talking about it. Like, it's something that I've identified as my personal weakness, is that in the moment I'm very emotional, and then I have to get out of my emotions to then get into, like, I actually have to process it mentally, because mentally and emotionally is different. Yeah. So I actually notated that, like, in my journal, that one, I have to get out of that space, whatever that is, whether it's a situation, I call it medicate, but I smoke or whatever. And then I can then process it in a different space. Yeah. Like it was an eye opener for me. And then the second thing that I noticed, this is self reflecting here at this point, but writing it down. Like when I'm upset, if I can write it all out and like clear it, even if nobody's listening to me, just writing it down, once I clear it, then I can have a different perspective of logical and emotion, like what the hell is really going on.
So are you one of those like angry text message, typing really hard on the phone and then delete it all kind of people?
Yeah.
I need you to read this email before I send it because I'm really upset.
Yeah, I'm probably the person who wouldn't even get to the text. I already exploded on the phone call because I ain't got time for that. Yeah, but I am that person. I'm that person that'll write
Just
it all
two
out.
thumbs.
And just like what is it called? Like
Dismiss?
Yeah.
Word vomit.
Yeah, word vomit. I word vomit everything.
Yeah. That's the worst.
And to be honest, it's all connected to emotional. So I got to get out of that.
It's tough because, especially as someone who's in charge in a leadership role or as a business owner, you have to remove a lot of that emotion because at the end of the day, like this is
How do you
business.
practice that? Because in the 4 agreements, it does say don't take anything personal. It's always in one of those lessons, but how do you actually do it?
You have to have good defining standards, right? And that's the measurement. So, to be able to hold somebody accountable, you've got to say, here was what you agreed to. Here was the agreement. So this is where a handbook comes into play. This is where a contract comes into play.
Okay.
This is where you can keep it very factual, right? There's no, like when I was coming up in corporate hotels, that was always the conversation. Anything you put in email should be legal ready. in case it ends up in court at some point. You want to remove all emotion out of it. So whether this is a documentation or this is just a generic email,
right,
take your emotion out of it. And
Yeah.
I think that is a really, really big piece. It has to be, court ready.
Yeah, so let's say the paperwork aside, right? All right, so you have to do the paperwork. So what's going through you? Let's say something happens, and you're human. I'm sure shit happens to you where you take it personal, right? How in that moment right there before you get it to the paperwork, like what are you doing? What are you thinking? What questions are you asking yourself? Like I need some type of something to resort to help me get better at this.
I like to put myself in that person's shoes and see it from their perspective.
Okay.
I
So take a second and flip perspectives.
When you can do that, I think you're gonna see things a little bit differently than from your perspective.
Right.
The other thing, and this is something that Tina's taught me repeatedly, is come from a place of curiosity instead of giving direction or voicing frustration and emotion.
Right.
Come from a place of curiosity.
Okay.
So what happened here? Why did you make that decision?
This is good.
I'm just curious to know.
Yeah.
That has helped me a lot when dealing with a lot of conflict, because it removes my opinion out of it and it forces them to give me an answer.
Right. And Tina says self-awareness. Because then you can change your actions. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I do see that. And I like what you said is remain curious, because like when you're in the heat of the moment, you're trying to prove a point. You're not even curious at that point. You know what I'm
you're
saying?
thinking about what you're going to say before you actually listen to what they said.
Right. And also you're in, and this is me speaking to myself. Like I'm in my mind so much that like I don't even give them the opportunity for me to think in their perspective, because I'm over here trying to prove a point. All right. So that's just what I got from your week opening. You see how we do that, y'all? All right. So the topic today and kind of what I want to talk about, and this seems like what we were discussing off air, which is more of like the connection between like your mental health, your actual health, and taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I personally deal with that. I'll just, open up with this. During the last year, I went through a space and I go there often, but not as bad as I was at that moment, where I just don't eat.
Yeah.
Like I don't feed myself. And I know I can feed myself, but I just don't take the time to care for myself. And I remember it specifically because Tina was there. But there's one day in specific where I went to go film at your house. You threw me like a old fashioned or whatever, and I always drink whatever hell you give me. But that day I didn't have no food.
Yeah.
I ain't had no food, bro.
Hits you hard.
And I remember like that shit almost made me pass out, like, cause my body just was not. My body didn't have no food. It damn sure ain't had no water. And then I'm drinking liquor. So like, I say that to tell you that last year I did pass out one time. Just off of just bad health. I just, I was drinking and I wasn't eating that night, and I fell over, bro.
Yeah, man. You gotta be careful with that kind of stuff. I think that's what those indicators are things that would make you want to go get something checked out. Yeah. Because you're kind of assuming that it's about not having any food in your body at that time, but it might be something deeper.
Yeah. It could be.
You always want to get that kind of stuff checked out. I had a crazy experience this week. I'd already been feeling a kind of way coming out of Aspen, and like, you see pictures of yourself and you're like, man, I got to get my life back under control, my health, my drinking, like all these certain things. But then I had recently done this like blood work with this organization, and they analyze your blood work and kind of tell you like what's going on with you, what's happening. And it just kind of reconfirmed everything I was feeling. And the worst part is like, I'm a chef. So it's like, I know that working out in the gym is only going to give you like, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes of health. And then you got 23 hours left of eating. Right. Like eating and sleeping is most of what is going to help your body. And like as a chef, I know this, and I know what should go in your body, but managing the time to actually, prep the food and organize the food and then eat the food and not succumb to, the
other things,
the American culture of like, oh, I'm just going to run through the drive-through. Like it's so hard, and I feel bad because like even with T, she's like, yo, if you're a chef, like cook me some food and I'll eat it. Right. And it's like, it's one of those tough pieces where it's a constant struggle. You're trying to just manage your time, and life comes at you hard and it comes at you fast. And next thing you know, you're pushing 40.
Yeah.
And you really got to get your health under control because there's a reality. I mean, you know.
What did that blood work do for you mentally? Like when that actually happened and he's breaking it down to you, because we were talking about it. He's kind of breaking down each level and giving you what is good and what could show some improvement. How did that help you?
You know, it was interesting because he's looking at my cholesterol and he's like, you know, your cholesterol is actually, I think a normal, regular doctor would say you have high cholesterol. He goes, but when I actually look at the numbers and the measurements, you actually have really good high cholesterol. Yeah. He's like, so I'm assuming you probably eat a lot of avocados, you eat a lot of almonds, you probably have a lot of olive oil in your diet. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. That's probably most of what I do eat is that.
And we had avocados this morning.
Yep, right. I mean, I like avocados. So, you know, he's asking me these things and you know, then he's paying attention to blood sugar. And he's like, you know, you're the exact opposite of a diabetic. He's like, you process blood sugar really, really good. He's like, so your metabolism moves really fast. He's like, I bet you if you clean up your diet, you lose weight really quick.
Right.
You know, and then he's kind of going through stuff and he's like, you need to drink more water. Like you're dehydrated, right? Or I
think we should pause there because there's there's a huge number of people who are just dehydrated.
Yeah.
And we don't know it. Like I read this post, it was funny to me, but it's really true. Like growing up, we just didn't really drink water.
Yeah, we drank Kool-Aid.
We drank anything else but water. You know what I'm saying?
Flavor Aid, because we couldn't afford Kool-Aid.
Well, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Everybody just throw some sugar in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, half a bag of sugar and 1 packet of Flavor Aid.
But it's hilarious the way that, like, you know what I'm saying, we aren't conditioned, if you will, to value water, like to drink water and to be hydrated. I think that was like one of my aha moments when I did start working out consistently this year, is when I actually drank more water, how much better my body felt.
Yeah,
like just that alone.
I mean, when you think about it, the salt and the alcohol are two of the biggest things that are causing dehydration. And then you feel it in your body, and your body's holding on to stuff. And when you get that water in and you flush the system, it's going to push everything through. So, you know, I've been especially this week, I've backed off my drinking tremendously. Like I've had one sip of alcohol. On
accident.
On accident. It was. Tina laughed at me when I told her that, but I said, you know, I was just talking to a wine rep, and he handed me like this glass of Prosecco, and I was like, oh, you know, we're talking about it, and I was like, damn it, I totally forgot I wasn't drinking this week. Yeah, you know, I'm a chef. But it wasn't intentional. So, you know, I've backed off of my drinking a lot this week, especially since Aspen, we drank so much. But I've been drinking water, and I've been shooting for a gallon a day. So, you know, I've been walking around with this giant jug of water.
Yeah.
And if I get 2 of those in me, you know, I know I hit my gallon. So I'm just trying to stay on top of that right now.
I love that because we were talking about bringing up the topic of habits and vices. And I think this kind of bleeds right into it, like changing your health habits.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Speak about like in a moment like this when, like, for example, you're taking this week. Oh, that thing ain't had nobody on the live anyway, so I don't even know what happened. My Facebook looked like brother's IG from a couple weeks ago.
No, but when you're focusing on health, and you know, at some point you have to realize that I need to make changes. And for me, I've been struggling with this a lot, and I think a lot of us struggle with this. Is like you look at pictures from like 7 years ago, and you're like, man, I was so skinny.
Yeah.
You know, but you were younger as well, and your body was different, and your lifestyle was different. So you know, I've been having these reflections of like, I got to get my health under control. I got to lose some weight. I gotta really focus on my diet. I need to get, in order to protect my mental health. And as much as I talk about mental health, I got to protect my physical health.
Yes.
And you go on these spurts of like, oh, I'm going to do it. And then you just fall off. But a lot of it is really is just diet. I mean,
that's where you're going to have to battle for sure.
And it's not diet. 'Cause like, especially as Americans, we don't like to lose. Like that's just part of our culture.
Yeah.
So, you know, nobody wants to lose at anything, especially weight. So it's just, you know, it's a mindset thing. But at the end of the day, I need to feel better, and I need to feel better physically. And right now I feel sluggish and I feel too heavy.
All right, so let's make this a No Looks Given episode. You ready? What is a goal that you're setting with our listeners? We're having an accountability partner here, you know, and it's our No Looks Given listeners. So what goal or habit are we changing? What are you setting in regards to working on your physical health to then blend with your mental health? What are you establishing with our community?
Yeah, for me right now, there's two things that I'm trying to do. I'm trying not to drink out of boredom. Right, that's I'm bored, so I'm gonna drink.
Yo,
and
I'm sure a lot of people in the culinary world felt that one.
Man, I just not even in the culinary world, just in life, like
just in life, yeah.
It's I'm done with my day, time to drink, and then all of a sudden, and I'm one of those. It's like 4 bottles in, I'm like, oh, where all the wine go? And I'm faded, and then you got to deal with it the next day. But for me, the second goal also is just trying to get a gallon of water in my body every day. So
good for you, bro.
I think it's something so simple, which is just it has nothing to do with physical. Like Tina and I always joke, like if you see us running, you should run too.
Yeah.
Some's chasing us.
Yeah.
Tina's one of those that'll pull up on a runner on the side of the road and be like, "Are you okay?"
She is crazy. If she would have did that to me, that would have been funny. Oh my god!
But yeah, I mean, so many of us just drink for boredom, especially after the pandemic too. Like, I killed an inventory at my house and then restocked it, and now it's like just need to be on top of that. So, I'm trying to find other things to do when I'm bored. And a lot of that is just going into my writing. I'm really trying to make that the habit. But even like something as simple as like, just go outside with the dogs and play with them in the backyard. Or there's just little things that I'm trying to just find distractions from just resorting to drinking because I'm bored.
No, that's big. And we actually got a comment that said, oh my God, that's totally me, drinking out of boredom.
We feel that.
So people relate to it. And also thank you for sharing the podcast. I saw that earlier. So a lot of people do have this issue with drinking out of boredom. Mm-hmm. I'm the opposite. I don't really drink too often. I mean, I'm probably gonna drink tonight. Not gonna lie. But just in regards to like my vice, I smoke out of boredom.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Like I smoke a cigarette out of boredom, a Black and Mild cigar, a joint, whatever. But you know what I'm saying. It's not drinking to me. It's smoking for me. You know what I mean. But I do see that. In regards to like my own habits, I do see that as a trend. Mm-hmm. So something that I'm personally doing, and I'm going to take up the gallon of water because I really like that one. But I've been running 10K a month, which is basically just one run for an hour, pretty much. What? Which makes you feel like, what does it say? I can't see it.
What makes you two on a bike even funnier?
Oh my God.
They got jokes.
That's funny. Get a little and we probably be perfect mix.
No, but like think about it. I mean, when it comes down to it, like what we're putting in our body is really the make or break when we talk about a lot of diseases that are out there, a lot of things that are happening, what's in your food. Like all of this comes back down to what you're putting in your body. So, one of the things that I had posed to me early in my career by a nutritionist I was working with is she said, say it out loud before you actually put it in your body.
Say it out loud?
Yeah. So I'm, if it's a cheeseburger, say cheeseburger out loud. And before you put it in your body, you are knowingly putting that in your body.
A cheeseburger.
Because you're not just going to what's comfortable or what's there. You're aware of it. And I think that's a big thing. Yeah, sugar is huge. I mean, especially processed sugar, and that's something that's so big in the American diet that
right.
Everything is processed. I always like to say if you're going grocery shopping, you have to treat the grocery store like a racetrack. Everything you need is on the outside. Once you get into the middle and the aisles, that's where you get in trouble.
Really?
Just think about it. Your vegetables, your meats, your cheeses, all of that stuff is all on the outside.
Right. Just walk around the whole store.
Just walk around the outside. And once you get into the aisles, that's when you get in trouble.
Treat it like a racetrack.
Yeah.
All right. That's dope.
So I'm trying to put this back into my life. I had a really good friend who lived here in Colorado Springs. And he moved away, but he was a big part of me wanting to be physically fit. And he was a trainer, CrossFit gym, and man, he pushed me all the time and really kept me in check with a lot of that stuff. And I think since he's moved away, I've lost that accountability partner of like hey, what are you doing? Hey, you need to step up. Come on, let's go for a run. Let's go play some basketball. Like that was a big piece of my circle at that point. And I think, we just got to get back on that. So trying to find that motivation
or even like fulfilling that space, and it may not just be your specific circle, but for somebody who wants to make a physical change in their life, they may need somebody who is in that world, like your buddy, who then sets an accountability partner level, to then make you. It reminds me of what you told me on one of these podcasts was basically imagine if you were running with somebody who was trying to lose weight, instead of doing it for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That made me, in that moment, I remember thinking to myself, like, hell yeah, I would go running with that person. You know what I'm saying? I would run probably, you know what I'm saying, as much as they need. You know what I mean? Because it's for them, which I love. What you got?
Sorry, Tina's comment made me crack up. She said, and husband and wife cannot be accountability partners when it comes to food.
That's not in the agreement of the relationship.
That's a constant battle and argument. It's gonna happen.
Which is fair. Which is fair.
But, it's one of those things where you have, and I think this goes for anything that you're struggling with, whether it's mental health or it's physical health or, even addiction. You have to make the decision for you. And it has to start there. Like, you can't take care of anybody if you're not taking care of yourself. And
right.
I've said that about other things in my life, and I've said that in other pieces, but I've never held myself accountable to that when it comes to my physical health. And this is a point where, like, I'm realizing, like, 40's right there.
Right.
And I know my father passed away at 44 years old.
Right.
So the reality is creeping up on me. So going through this blood work and even with something like Chef Mike passing away suddenly, like, these are realities that, you're faced with mortality. And if you can do something preventative, why wouldn't you? So it's really hit me hard right now, and I think that's a big piece. And I love that we have this podcast to talk about this kind of stuff because
it gives you clarity. It allows you to process it. You know
I'm actually working through this in front of a camera and audio, but the realization is there. Is that mortality is a real thing, and if you can change a lifestyle because your heart is important, your organs are important. The weight that you're carrying could be a little bit less sometimes, especially as you're gotten older. Like, I used to walk around at like 220, 230, and that was my normal weight. And, now being 250, 260, like that's a lot heavier, which I can prevent. So it's like, why not?
On your knees, on your body, the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I love the idea of what you described, which is basically you're working out these things right here live in front of the audience. That's my favorite part about the podcast is because, I get stuck sometimes really in the moment and I'm really thinking about these things. And I think that that's one of the most transparent parts about our podcast is that these are real conversations. So just on that notion, like, it is a serious thing. You know what I'm saying? Addiction, your mental health, your physical health. You know what I'm saying? So like these things, they're very important, but I love that you brought it back to, this doesn't happen without you. Yeah. So like I'm writing my book. You know what I'm saying? I told you this. And this chapter is about breaking generational curses. And it's speaking to me in the nature of, because when I wrote it like 6-8 months ago, I was speaking about the addiction of smoking. And in the time, like real time, when I'm editing it, I'm still smoking as I'm writing like these things out.
Which kills me because like the stuff that's in those cigarettes versus like
aren't
what's
good
in the vaccine.
Right. Well, no, I don't. Nope. No, we could go there. I could have this convo. I could have this convo, which is a funny thing because last night I had an argument with this man about that shit, and then I get in my car and smoke a cigarette, and I thought about that. I really did.
There's a lot of stuff in tobacco.
Yeah, and there's some shit in that shit too. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna get in there. But look, the point of me telling this story is when I was going back and re-editing it, there was a moment where it was like a look in the mirror moment. And it was like, you can say all these things and like, yes, you can battle with them, but when are you actually going to do it? Yeah. You know what I mean? That's what I was talking to myself. I'm being real with
message.
You. Like message. But that's what I really sat with as I read that chapter the other night. So I say that to say this is that I love that part about it. It starts with you. And I think you have to make it so meaningful to you, like a strong enough why because like our patterns and our habits will lead us right back to where we were.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the struggle that I'm dealing with, and quite frankly, like that's the aha moment where I realized, like, yo, you got to do it for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? For you, nobody else.
And it's not something that's going to happen immediate. That's the hardest part, is like, you can't focus on like, oh, in 90 days, I'm going to be this, or in 30 days, I'm going to be this. Like, you have to focus on just today. You gotta fight the battle of, like, I took an Ambien, so I'm going to go raid the pantry and I'm going to eat every chip in this house.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to feel guilty about myself in the morning, because that's totally me. I'm an Ambien, muncher. But like, you got to really focus on today. And I think that's the biggest part. We get so caught up in watching other people's success stories, especially when you look at something like Instagram and TikTok. Like, everybody's got these like time lapses but it's over the course of like a year that you're watching in 30 seconds. Like, it doesn't happen. So I think, when we look ourselves in the mirror, if you don't like what you see and you're not happy with that, that's kind of the first confrontation.
Yeah.
And I for me right now, that's the person that I'm talking to the most.
Right.
It's like, I got to deal with that person, because obviously we got an issue.
Right.
And that's what I'm trying to figure out right now. Is like, I don't like you right now, so I'm trying to fix what I don't like.
Yeah, I feel like it's the triangle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I always feel like if there's 3, I can only hit 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always going to fall short on the third at some point. You know what I mean? And even at that rate, if it's a triangle, I might only hit 1.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But it's about rotating around that. So like, I can't do it for the whole year and miss that 1. Otherwise, I won't have that 1. Yeah. Whether it's family, business, mental, spirit, whatever that triangle is, the work triangle.
Yeah.
So like, for example, I'll just give you a clear example of what I'm talking about, which is basically like when I was working out 4 times a week. I'll be honest, like I was working at that time, but I wasn't working like how I am now.
Yeah.
Like, and I could be straight up with you. The only reason why I don't go to the gym is because I'll fall asleep too early at night. I got some stuff I got to do. You know what I'm saying? So like, there is the sacrifices in timing, to where like right now, to be quite honest with the world, I'm not focusing on physical as much. It's not the number one priority, but I'm still doing like my standard. So my standard is 10K a month. Mm-hmm. So like, no matter what, even if it's the 30th of the month and I haven't ran my 10K, I'm running that day. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's my standard. Reason why I share that with y'all is because like, you're not going to make all the change in one day. And even like the days where I smoke 1 cigarette, or even on the days where I go a whole day without one, like even I smoke the next day, like it's still something to celebrate. So I'm not going to fix it all in one. Reason why I share that with y'all is because in a running sense, like, let's be quite honest, like I'm not a runner. You know what I'm saying? But
you running 10K a month, bro. You a runner.
Nah, bro. Nah. Well, it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
I ain't running 10K a month.
Well, I run it on one run.
I'm an asthmatic.
I run it on one run. One run, one time a month. And I smoke a cigarette before I run.
Makes no sense at all.
No sense at all. But the reason why I say that is because you have to take pride in your process. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And if I didn't have some sense of pride in my process, knowing that, hey, although I'm not working out every day like how I used to, I'm still going to run a 10K and I'm getting my business done right now. Yeah. That's going to put me in a situation where, you know, at some point, I'll be able to work my triangle a little bit more evenly.
Yeah,
you know
and I think just to kind of bring it back for everybody who's kind of maybe tuning in just now, we're talking about how your physical health affects your mental health and how that all ties in together.
And the triangle I'm describing is physical, mental, spiritual.
Yeah, and all those things really come together. So, you know, today we're kind of discussing like our physical health and what we're doing and where we're struggling and where the vulnerabilities are, where the insecurities are, but also where the strengths are. Right, you know? I mean, you being able to commit to doing a 10K a month is huge, right? I keep telling myself, I'm like, man, I'm gonna start doing 100 push-ups a day. Like that's I was a part of this challenge. I worked at this one property, and that was the challenge at the hotel. Like everybody on the leadership team got into this 100 push-ups a day. Yeah. And it didn't matter. Like at work, We would just drop down and do push-ups.
Yeah.
But you had all day long to get 100 push-ups done.
Right.
You could do them 10 times, 10 reps at a time, or you could do 100 straight. Like whatever worked for you. But, you know, it turned into this blog post. It turned into this following. People were doing there's pictures of people doing push-ups on like the pyramids in Hawaii. Like beautiful. All over the world, this thing just kind of blew up. So, you know, maybe that's kind of where the motivation is picking some kind of goal, like you said, a 10K or 100 push-ups or 100 squats or whatever it is, and just committing to that.
Right.
Because that's where consistency is starting to be built, and that's where habits are formed.
Yes, I love that you brought that full circle, consistency and habits. That's beautiful. And even if it's not 100, fuck it, 10. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
10 push-ups
it's
a day.
More than you did yesterday.
Right. I think that's kind of the, call to action more than anything. Mm-hmm. But I think also just being vulnerable, speaking out. Like, you know, I was telling somebody the other day, like I wanted to have the conversation that we're having right now, which was about like our habits and our vices. And you know what the conversation led to is that some people's vices are attention. Mm-hmm. Like it's not even like what most people would think. Like their vice may be attention. Yeah. So I think everybody like self-analyze to be self-aware about what your vice is or what it is about you. Because it's not always alcohol or a drug. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it could be work.
Caffeine.
It could be, you know what I'm saying? Argument.
You're right. Hell yeah. It definitely can be.
I like confrontation.
Right.
it could be a number of things.
Man, damn, that made my mind go crazy. Like, oh, this person just like drama. They addicted to drama.
Mm-hmm. There's some of those out there.
That's crazy. You know? Like you can be addicted to that. That's wild. That I just got my mind blown for a second. That damn, you could be addicted to that.
Yeah, or even something as simple as like trends. You know, or you know, they just want to constantly be upset about something. Like, you can't win. You always going to lose that battle because that's not about you. That's on them.
Yeah.
That's just their thing.
Okay, I got a question. For you, growing up, obviously, you're a little bit older than myself. Like,
just put it out there.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm a young buck. You know what I'm saying?
No, hold on. Before you go to this, I'm going to tell you.
I said you're a little bit older than myself.
So the other day, I'm going to tell you how old I'm starting to feel. So the other day, I was looking in the mirror, and I was like, man, like, I think I got, like, a sunburn or something because, like, I think I'm peeling on my eyebrows. So I'm, like, looking at my eyebrows, and I look closer, man. It's actually gray hair. I got gray hair in my eyebrows, man.
Your skin peeling?
I thought I was like flaking or something.
Nah, brother.
Yep, I'm getting old,
brother.
Man.
That's the gray coming in.
That's age. I'm on my way to the salt and pepper shaker.
Get out of here. You're doing just fine, man. So, hey, well, we got to make these health changes. You're going to be Gucci. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Take
Lord
care of
bless you with the venom.
I want to look like Sauce when I'm 60.
On the golf course, man.
In general, man.
I've never seen him like outside his workout.
He's such a healthy person, man.
Yeah.
You know, 60 years old. He look good for 60.
Yeah, well, he's goddamn good on the golf course. That's all I know. So here's my question, though. Okay. Like in your career, what is like a habit or a vice that you faced or something that you've, persevered through, if you will? Or maybe you're still battling it. I don't know. What's something for you personally?
I think something that's really tough for me is, compassion. It's hard because you have values as a person. You have values of who you are and what your identity is. But then when it comes to work, you kind of have to find this balance. And a lot of jobs that people are in, they don't have the luxury of having that compassion because the rules are the rules. And, I was faced with a unique situation actually this morning to find that compassion and make a decision. And, I realized that I have a choice. It's my business and I get to make that call. But it's been to my detriment sometimes, my compassion, and it's also been to my strength sometimes. And that can be some of the at-risk youth that I've brought on to the teams. I want these kids to do well because cooking helped me. It saved my life. It got me off the streets. It got me out of trouble. It changed my trajectory. That's not going to happen with everybody, but like almost to my detriment, I go after a lot of these kids and bring them in and constantly try to get them to that next level. So, it's a constant battle of dealing with compassion versus professionalism.
Wow. Yeah, man, that's deep. Is finding And you're saying that you have too much compassion.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying.
And sometimes you need to keep it black and white, and that's hard. Right. Because you feel for these people.
Right.
But if it's affecting the business, it's affecting the team, you got to make a call. And that's always extremely hard because now you have to deal with that. You know, you made a call.
Yeah.
And sometimes you might feel it was against how you feel as a person, but, you know, you're a leader.
Yeah. That's a luxury, you know, in a small business versus a corporate world, I think.
You don't even get the opportunity to have that discussion.
You don't even get that line to be, you know, to teeter-totter with it. You know what I'm saying? So that is, you know, obviously a small business thing that you have the opportunity to either decide one way or the other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How you work through those? What's like the deciding factor for you?
You know, good advice from good people. Pray about it. I think that's always a good start. But, you know, really just in the moment, you make a decision. Like you're gonna give somebody a shot, maybe a second shot, but you kind of have to kind of fill it out. You know, are they remorseful? Do they feel that way? Is it worth the time? Is it worth the sacrifice? What am I losing because of it? How is it affect? Like you have to kind of analyze a case by case situation. You know, and it's interesting because you're gonna be faced with those same exact scenarios in the future.
Yeah.
And that's something that's a trip because you've experienced it once and you made a certain decision and now you have to do that same decision again, or do you want to change it? And that's something that I always find interesting.
Yeah. Giving them the opportunity to change though, I think is the blessing that of what you do. You know, so just to flip back here, I know you said it's compassion itself. Anything growing up through youth, or even to your professional career that you dealt with, in terms of like habits and vices that you experience in your life?
You know, I'm an observer. I watch, and I've been like that since I was young and in the streets.
Yeah,
as I would sit on a stoop or I would stand on a corner. And you would just observe. You would watch what was going on in the neighborhood. You would watch what's happening on the corner. You would watch what's happening as the people circulated in and out. And I think as an adult, especially as a business owner, I observe a lot and I watch a lot and I utilize tools and resources. I mean, this is why you have security systems. Like you can go back and watch the footage, and you can read a lot from body language and see what's going on. So, you know, for me, it's something that I carry into my adulthood is my observation mentality is, you know, watch what's going on before you make a decision. Like get all the facts.
Yeah. Collect
the data.
Yeah. What was it? Damn, I can't remember right now. There was a 3C thing I was trying to pull out. Okay. I like that. I like that a lot. So tell me this, because I'm digging here. I'm trying to find your habits and your vices, bro. So like, all right, I'll just tell you mine. Like, you know, from when I was a kid, I feel like I've experienced every vice. Like every damn vice I've dabbled in. Okay. Whether it be like women, drugs, smoking, drinking, like any vice that you can imagine, I feel like I've experienced.
Yeah.
And I feel like, and this is from my writing that I found this out, that I feel like I relate and it might be something from my reference book, plus what I'm starting to realize is that like what I correlate to these early memories of these vices is how I feel about them now. I'll give you an example. Like for smoking, for example, like when I was introduced to smoking, I was a young kid, and I remember it was like a bad boy thing. You know what I'm trying to say. Like,
I smoked my first blunt at 10.
Yeah, like it was like a bad boy thing. And then I feel like I embodied that mentality, like that bad boy mentality, all the way through up to my like adulthood, probably until I had my kid, honestly.
Yeah.
So like these vices, like they were just a part of like my life. I didn't even realize it.
Yeah.
Until honestly, probably like I got out of a specific house all my homies lived in. Like I got out of that environment and realized, damn, we drink every night.
Yeah.
Like before we get home, we ask like, who's got the bottle? And that's a whole bottle. Like that's not a whole handle.
I killed a couple Irk jerks in my life.
Yeah, I'm you know what I'm saying? You can probably drink me on the table. I ain't gonna mess with you.
But no, but here's the thing, you know, and when we talk about being a youth and especially coming from our backgrounds, like smoking, drinking, violence, all those things that we were a part of, a lot of that was numbing pain. Right. Yeah. It was finding some way to numb the reality of what you lived in. Right. And I think that's the biggest piece of it is, you know, I don't smoke now. And I used to smoke a lot when I was younger. And it's because, you know, I was just trying to blur reality. Right. Mm-hmm. Reality was too painful to face, to deal with, to actually accept. Yeah. So I needed something to kind of calm that down and make it more approachable so I could get through the day. Yeah. And I think a lot of us we still have our vices, but that's a big reason why we have those vices is we're trying to numb that reality that we're like our day was too hard, or man, I'm so frustrated with what's going on, or the bills are piling up, or you know, I just lost this person, I'm dealing with grief. Like there's so many different scenarios that you're trying to find something to numb you, you know, just to make it a little bit easier to cope with, instead of, you know, actually facing with, you know, my thing right now is, Tina called me out on this. She's like, you have a habit of when things are hard, like you overwork yourself. Like you put so much on your plate so you don't have to deal with it. And I'm like, only somebody who knows me truly and is around me like that and loves me could tell me something like that, because that's an observation. Yeah. You know, and I do have that habit, and it's one of those things where I'm like,
because when you're busy, you don't think it.
I'm literally trying to block it out. So instead of me smoking 20 blunts or, you know, drinking a whole fifth or a whole handle, you know, I'm trying to just stay and work, because I can stay in the mentality where I'm in control.
Right. Even that is numbing the pain in some sense of the way.
Yeah. It's blurring the reality, you know, which is dealing with emotions and dealing with the problems that are truly there. I mean, but I want to be more clear-headed about it. Yeah, you know, I feel like I feel like I'm actually making better decisions once I clear my head from all of that, all of those vices that I'm medicating myself with. Yeah. When I do clear my head and I go into a cleanse, or I go into something where I'm just taking a break from all that, right, I do start to make better decisions, and I do feel more aware. Feel better. Yeah. And you know, like we talked about, you know, drinking water and not drinking alcohol right now, and substitutes. I'm starting to feel like I'm getting more control again. Yeah. Versus I'm just kind of going through the motions.
All right, y'all. I just had my aha moment. Yeah, it just clicked. That was beautiful, man. Look, I say this probably every podcast, but this is why this podcast was created.
This is my favorite episode.
No, I didn't say that yet. I didn't say that. But the reason why this podcast is created, because really, these conversations happen all the time. And I always tell bro, somebody in the world needs to hear this.
Yeah, no, and you're right. Like this, it's cool that we're sharing this with social media, and we're recording it for it to go out to whoever that needs to hear these conversations. But like, this was just conversations between us.
This is more for me. Sorry, y'all.
But like, these are just conversations that you and I were having.
Yes, always.
Is why we even created this and why we started it. It wasn't about fame. It wasn't about, you know, popularity or following. Right. It was just like, I think it was Ross Smith who told us, like, you guys need to record all this stuff, because these are good. Yeah, you know, and like when an NFL legend tells you something like that,
Hall of Fame,
you should probably listen. Like, this dude got books.
Right. Yeah, we should have him on the podcast.
We should hit Rod up, man.
Yeah, hit Rod up, see if we can get him on a podcast, because I think that'll be a great moment to then bring back full circle, because I've never forgotten that.
Yeah, no, like, that was a really good.
The man sat down and recorded on his phone.
Yeah, and think about this. So, and just to kind of give the listeners context, a background on this. So I was asked to be a guest judge for the Miss Colorado beauty pageant. Yep. Which is cool. Like, you know, I've never done anything like that. It's completely outside the box. And they were like, we want you to be a judge. And the first thought in my head was like, well, what do I know about anything when it comes to a beauty pageant? And, you know, so I saw the other judge was beautiful. But I saw the other judge that they had invited. One of the other judges was Rod Smith from the Denver Broncos. And so I go on my Instagram and I hit him up and I'm like, hey, I just got invited to be this guest judge, and I see you're the other judge, man. I'd love to just talk to you and kind of know what your take is on this. And like, I don't want to come in as like this like masculine type personality. I want to tread lightly, and I want to come from a place of curiosity.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm sure he was like, "Who's Brother Luck?"
Yeah.
and did his, you know, kind
his
of
research.
his investigation.
Yeah.
But then he hit me back up and was like, "Yeah, man, I'll come down to the Springs, come check you out." So he came down to the restaurant. You happened to be there that day. And we sat there for like 3-4 hours. He had just finished up his book, The Rod Effect.
Yep.
And
which we got a copy of. Yeah. And he signed that bad boy, and I read the whole thing.
Yep. And we had a great conversation with Rod Smith just about, you know, his career and his take on things and his business mentality with what he's doing after retirement. And it was very natural. It was very organic, you know. And then obviously I got to spend the weekend with him and the other judges at the Broadmoor doing this whole experience for the Miss Colorado pageant.
And he ate the chicken wings.
Yeah, you know, and he came in and he had the Bobby
ones.
Flay wings and like went live on his IG, and you know, it was a really good introduction to somebody amazing. But I think that was a big part of me and you moving forward
saying,
with
hey,
this
we gotta
podcast.
record everything.
And I don't think we've actually put that together until right now.
Yeah,
that we should probably tell him thank you.
Right, and that's why I said we should probably have Rod up here, make it go full circle.
Absolutely.
Like, it was an aha moment for me because he used his phone.
Yeah.
Like, that was as simple as it is, y'all. Like, that's what blew me away. Is I have a phone all the damn time. I don't record none of my conversations.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Especially, like, good ones or important ones.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be valuable to have that conversation on record so then you can go back to see exactly what was said, or even, like, to take notes. Like, damn, that's so good. All right, I'm gonna have to record some of my meetings.
I mean, even when I'm working with Marcus right now, as we're writing the book, every time Marcus and I sit down, he records. Just because he's gonna go, we get into these conversations, and then it gets really, and then he's like, "Oh man, I gotta go back to that because what did he say?" And now as we're writing this book together, it's just kind of coming together. So it's an important piece.
Somebody said their girlfriend loved their food at the dumpling spot yesterday. That's a lucky dumpling plug.
Yeah, shout out to Don Colada.
Look, I want to make sure I say this. Rod Smith, thank you. Thank you, bro, because I don't think that I connected it until now. That's probably why we really started to do what we were doing.
Yep.
Because we have all this film, all this content, but we don't have conversations like this recorded.
No,
you know what I mean?
No.
So we are 20. This says 24. So we're 24. Bruh, we have 24 hours of us just chopping it. Bruh, a whole day.
Yes.
Of just chopping it up. But I think what's more important is, like, we have 24 hours of content that we can go back to forever. And it is a catalog, but I think that the importance of, like, our conversations won't be shown until later in life. You know what I mean?
True.
Bro, there's some in there, bro. I'm telling you, man, in those first episodes, like, those are good. And maybe not the first ones. Like, I think 5, 6, 7 is probably where I'm at.
Well, you know, and it's interesting because I was just watching the new, I don't know if you've seen the new Biggie documentary. I think it's on Netflix. But it actually has his people who traveled with him coming up. They had a camera the whole time.
Right.
So it's that footage which nobody's ever really seen.
I did see that big documentary.
And I love the approach to it because it's capturing not only like an amazing era of the 90s, but also the rise and the death of that person. But like the words and the person, like I didn't know Biggie could sing. Did you know Biggie could sing?
I think that was my favorite part when Biggie was talking. It was like, damn, you got footage of Biggie? Like,
yeah. Wow. I didn't know he could actually sing though. Like as an R&B singer, they say he was an R&B writer. Yeah. So, you know, when you heard him hitting some of these Jodeci notes.
Yeah, I never heard him sing. I never heard him sing like that.
I think that was something to make. But I think that's what's cool about what we're doing now is we're capturing such a cool moment we have no idea where this is going. Shout out to everybody listening. Shout out to everybody that rocks with us, but we have no idea where this is going. And I think if it does blow up or something crazy happens, at least it's documented. You know, people can look back on this 10, 20, 30 years ago and be like, or 30 years from now and be like, man.
Oh, this is what I was going to say in the beginning of the podcast when I was like, oh, we should just record. I was getting some incredible feedback from last episode.
Okay.
Like the joy versus happiness, people needed that.
Yeah.
Like people needed that.
There's a big difference.
Another thing I wanted to say was people that I don't know, I got chills. You see my chills. People that
because you ain't got no sleeves on.
No, that's just when I get emotional.
That's AC.
When I get emotional, I get chills. But now, people that I don't know these people, bro. They not from my following. I'm telling you, people are reaching out to me.
No, it's beautiful.
Like, I don't know who they are. I don't know who they are.
If you send me some clips, I can share some of these podcasts.
But the clips is coming. Don't worry, that's coming by episode 25. I'm ahead. I'm almost getting in a good space for me to.
No,
attack
you
that.
know what it is. It's crazy because my social media is all over the place. I just post whatever I'm feeling that day.
Yeah.
And I got so many things I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm just sharing like whatever ended up in my phone, and when I get a chance to actually go through it. So there's certain times where like I'll catch something you clipped, or it'll make me go back and listen to the episode.
Yeah.
And then I'll just start screen recording it.
Yeah.
And then I'll reshare it. And that's literally how I've been sharing like the podcast stuff because it's good. But it's like, man, that's a gem. Oh man, I got to go back and record that and share that with everybody.
I got you. We're gonna work on that. That right there. For everybody listening, and if you're on the YouTube, for everybody watching, if you guys didn't witness that is a pain point for a business person. The way that my mind works is like, okay, how do I solve that right there? So I got a plan. I'm gonna solve that. Don't worry. But I think what I was trying to stress is that like when we started this, I didn't understand like where we were going. But last week was the first. Me neither. But last week was the first time, like, I honestly can tell you that, like, random ass people that I have no clue who they are hitting me up talking about, like, how impactful this podcast is to them in their lives.
I love that.
And I got a little emotional right there because, like, in specific, one person shared with me, like, how this helped them get through, like, their tough time.
Yeah.
And I just started thinking to myself, like, what the hell? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we let's be honest, we are just up here talking.
Yeah, and we're just people.
We are two people. Granted, you're who you are and I am who I am, but like I didn't know how far this would go.
No, not
and
at
to
all.
even see the beginning ripple effects, like we're only 24 episodes in, this hasn't touched the world. This is, you know what I'm saying, not yet, not into that
that level yet.
Yeah, that level yet. But when like to see the early ripples was very emotional for me.
I went back and watched that original steak video that you did. I think that was the first video you did
first video with Crystal.
And I remember you put the bougiest music on. It was like some Mr. Rogers music and sent it to me. And I was like, man, we got to actually talk because I don't think you really know like who I am and I don't know who you are, but like this ain't it.
I put on some corporate music for the commercial.
It was like the worst elevator music ever, and it was bouncy and doop 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 doop. It was like a Mario Brothers level. Like it was so bad. It was so bad. Like but the video was phenomenal.
This clip right here is the ones that we should go back and watch. Yeah. Like we should clip this moment right now, then go watch that video, and that should be the episode on the goddamn Patreon.
Yeah, man.
Watching this type of shit.
I was cracking up because I was going back because one of the things that I want to be pushing right now is I really want people to understand what 4 is about. Right? What's the story of 4 and what's the why of 4 and why is 4 unique and different than a lot of other restaurants? And I went back and watched the video that you did when Hannah and I were filming with you that day, and you did one that was like the story of 4. And I watched it because I was thinking about sharing it again because I think it had intention behind it, but it was so generic, and I didn't really have the connection or the emotion behind what I was trying to say that I was just like it almost felt scripted.
Yeah.
And I love, like you said, the content has no expiration date.
Right.
Like you can go back and look at this stuff, but it makes me like want to be like, I want to re-record that. And I don't know if I want to record it like how we did it, but like
right, but
it makes me want to re-share that message in a
right.
different format with a little bit more emotion, a little bit more rawness to it.
I honestly, like, that's probably the second documentary. Like, it has to tell that story, you know what I'm saying, of 4.
Yeah.
Because the first one is more of you, who Brother Luck is. And then I think the second one is, well, you crazy as hell. Second one is more like the story of that restaurant, and then the community aspect, like the Gray Wolf, and all those variables. I think that's the second one. And the third one, I just have fun. Tina, you got no say so in that one. Sorry, T, I love you. But yeah, man. So just to kind of bring this back, I always like to make sure we do this for our listeners. The only thing I promise on every episode is try to give some tip or advice. You know what I'm saying? So for our listeners that are dealing with like mental health versus physical health, and then their own vices and habits.
Yep.
What advice do you have for our listeners today?
I think the most important part is you have to find some honesty with yourself, and that's the hardest part is to not lie to yourself. Right, you know where you're struggling, you know where your weaknesses are, you know where your vices are. We all do when it comes to ourselves. You've got to accept that, and then you've got to decide. Right, it's a choice. It's a choice to move forward and change it, or let it stay the same, or let it get worse. You can see the reactions in the people that you're around, the family members, the coworkers, how it's affecting your body. Like, you have to really, really be honest with yourself. We get this tendency to lie through social media, where we can create perceptions, we can create personas. That's not reality, right? Reality is looking in the mirror in the morning. What do you see, and are you happy with it? And then how do you start to change that?
Brother motherfucking Luck. Damn, that was a good one, bro.
Yo, it's just how I'm feeling about myself. So that's not on y'all. That's me.
I think that This is my favorite podcast.
My favorite episode ever.
No, I think that that's probably why that hit me so much, was because it was so personal, because you're really reflecting on yourself.
Yeah.
But I put myself in that seat for that moment. So I had to take that in which, saying you killed that one. So if I had a tip or advice for somebody dealing with their mental and their physical health dynamic, and then also their habits and their vices, I think my tip is to look in the mirror. Like that's the one thing that helps me every time. So like if I tell y'all I have 8 sticky notes on my mirror. They each have one message apiece, and I have to read them left to right, or else it makes no sense. But it's one at a time. And when I look in the mirror, it allows me to do that self-analysis, like being real with myself.
Yep.
You said that social media allows us to create this facade. I think our brain allows it as well. You know what I'm saying? So like, what I love about what you said is that when you're ready to commit, like, that's when you do it. And I listen to motivational speeches all the time. There's one in specific, which is called the secret. What is it? The Great Secret. Anyways, whatever it's called. Earl Nightingale. And it talks about a 30-day challenge, and that you can't start the challenge until you're fully ready to start the challenge. And that if you mess up on the challenge, you got to restart it another 30 days.
Yeah.
The reason why I bring it up is because I love the fact that until you're ready, nobody knows when you're ready. You can't lie to yourself. You know what I mean? You can lie to other people. They might be able to believe you, but you can't lie to yourself.
Yeah.
So my tip is to look in the mirror, because that's the only thing that's really helping me personally is that self-reflection moment, either in the morning or in the night. And I need it to keep myself accountable. So
and you know what? And I mean, 30-day challenges are good. I've failed more 30-day challenges than I've attempted. Like,
right, me too.
But for me, it's a 1-day challenge, right? It's today. It's an hour, right? That's literally what I think is a better way to approach it, because you're not living in the future, you're living in today. And I think that's so important, is like, stop trying to challenge yourself to these 30-day or 90-day or 1 year.
Right.
It's just today, man. You got to get through today, whether that's your eating, that's your drinking, that's any addictions, that's your anger, that's your emotional responses, whatever you're trying to change about yourself. I think you just got to focus on today.
Yo, what the hell? This is No Luck's Giving podcast. Bro, this is good. This was a really good one. I don't know if anybody else knows, but this is my favorite episode.
This is my favorite episode. Tina said, don't judge me, bro. I'm not judging you, T. Man, you push me so much to do these challenges.
6 weeks. Don't judge me, bro. 6 weeks.
Man, she loves these challenges. I'm like, I can't commit to that much in life. That's a long time.
I do like.
I'm gonna fail, and like I'm telling myself that before I even let the story begin. But
right, well, that's the part where you can't start till you're ready for that challenge.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
And I screw those up. I'll get like 5 weeks. I'd be like, I'm almost there, and then last week I'd be like,
but that's cool though. You made 5 weeks, and then you start again. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Maybe you get, another week it'd be 6.
Yeah, I'm trying to do something different now. I'm gonna try it today. Today is where I'm living.
All right, y'all. Look, I want to make sure that I state this. Without y'all, we wouldn't be nothing. So Thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for watching. If you really want to be a supporter, be on Team Luck. We have patreon.com/Chef Brother Luck. You can actually be a monthly subscriber and you know what? Help us sponsor this.
Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna look at the calendar. I think I ain't got my phone's right there.
Okay, yeah, because I was gonna say, where are we? Can we set a goal of 100?
Let's do this. We need to do this pasta class, and I think that's
the pasta class is lit.
So we got to decide this. So let me look at my next week, because next week I've got, let's see, Wednesday I'm doing an event up here, and then Thursday actually just fell off. My other event. Calendar. So I'm thinking Thursday I'm gonna do a pasta class for the Patreon members next week. I'm committing right there. It just happened.
I have so much anxiety. I don't have my calendar with me.
So next Thursday, if you are a Patreon member, I'm going to be live streaming here in the studio. And what the Tuesday? No, you were rolling out the new. No, that's Tuesday. That's Tuesday. So Thursday, I'm gonna do a Patreon class. I'm gonna do it at 5:00, so it's done by 6:00. And that way I can get back to 4 because I'm rolling out the new menu.
I don't even know if I'm going to be
here.
Yeah,
see, I'm just going for it.
Look, brother is just tossing stuff out.
You know what? We did this the whole pandemic, and
you could figure it out.
I could figure it out. So that's what we're going to do. 5:00 on Thursday, I'm going to do a pasta class, and we'll set it out to all our Patreon members. But follow us, patreon.com/Chef Brother Luck.
But we have to announce our goal. Our goal is 100 subscribers.
100 subscribers. So we're climbing, which is cool.
Aiming to get to 100. All right, that's our first goal. Mm-hmm. And we thank you if you are one of those people who will subscribe today.
Yeah, and if you're already a current subscriber, thank you so much for dealing and having patience with us. It's been a crazy month. We launched this, and then we had some catastrophic things happen. So I feel like my feet are getting under me, and I'm still trying to balance things out. But I just want to say thank y'all for supporting us.
Right.
Absolutely amazing.
And beyond that, look, if you guys are listening on audio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, if you're watching this on YouTube, Chef Brother Luck YouTube, thank you. That's the most important thing. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for your love. We can't do this without you. Beyond that, brother, you got anything else? Any final thoughts before we take off?
Nah, it's Saturday. I got to get back in the kitchen.
All right, look, you can find me at official Dana Keith on IG, Dana Keith everywhere else. And Brother Luck?
That's Chef Brother Luck across the board. ChefBrotherLuck.com, on Instagram, on Facebook, on everything.
I love that plug. Until then, I'll see y'all next week. Peace. The man behind the hustle and grind. This is pride, courage, determination, and perseverance. Welcome to No Luck's Giving.